If you're a coach, consultant, or service-based business owner, I'm going to teach you the exact system you need to turn LinkedIn into a six-figure sales channel. And I'm going to teach you this system because it's exactly the same system I've used myself to consistently generate high-value leads for my company every single month. On average, we generate actually 30 to 50 of these leads per month. And I do this without sacrificing my soul to cringe content, spamming my network with copy-paste sales pitches. And the system is pretty responsible. Actually, it's generated hundreds of clients for me, coming up to 300 now, over 2 million in revenue over the last few years. And in fact, in the last 12 months alone, it's generated nearly 4 million views, 336 appointments for my agency, and 67 new clients have come into the business. It's the exact system I've used to scale my own agency and sell 4 and 5 figure services to 7, 8, 9 figure entrepreneurs. It's not this kind of spammy strategy that you can automate with AI to sell $17 ebooks. It's one that you want to use if you are an established entrepreneur that's selling something high ticket and wants to sell it with authority. And this is going to work because it doesn't fall into some of the pitfalls that traditional LinkedIn lead generation systems fall into, which is just copy-paste sales pitches that spam your network, use automated DM tools, you post loads of cringe selfies. There won't be any of that in this system. This is a high authority system that you can use to get leads in the next 30 days if you get it right. And the reason I'm sharing this is because I'm actually pretty tired of all of these outdated sleazy sales systems that the gurus are teaching. They're working on the old way, which yeah, it used to work, which was basically spam strangers in a numbers game. You're probably going to annoy a lot of people, but you might convert a very small percentage, typically 2 to 5%, if that. And that's not really the game I want to be playing. I want to be playing this new way, which is where you follow this system. You convert actually a much higher rate. 15 to 20% of people will become buyers. Everyone else, though, they're not going to be annoyed at you. They're actually going to be advocates for your business. So very fortunately, we have a new way of doing things to create trust at scale and generate high-paying customers without spamming your network or being cringe. And it's not just me that's got results from this. We've had clients that have generated six-figure pipelines, selling out their programs in a matter of weeks, selling 20K consulting deals in the first month using it. And it's so good because it's built in such a way where you can't lose. You know, best case scenario from this, you're like most people and you generate tens of thousands within a couple of months of launching the system. Absolute worst case, you build a group of a few thousand people who trust you, they have you top of mind, and they'll refer you to their friends when they need a product or a service like yours. Either way, you're going to be building authority with thousands of potential customers every single month. And look, I've been doing this for a while. It's not actually just the clients. Another great thing about this is that you're getting people who want to work with you. So whilst the volume of leads you get is higher, actually the quality of the client you have, the length they stay is much better as well because people want to work with you. Life is so much easier that way. I don't know about you, but I would much rather live my life and run my business that way. And I don't want to give off 2004 sleazy salesman energy when I'm winning these clients. My reputation matters to me, so I've built a system that does that. There are some common pitfalls and reasons why people won't generate leads on LinkedIn, and you need to avoid these if you want these systems to work. Firstly, common mistake is that you're not positioned as an authority. You need to be seen as an authority for people to trust you. A lot of people aren't actually just reaching the volume of prospects they need. Whilst we don't want to spam our audience in a numbers game, we do need volume for this to work. You don't have systems to collect signals of interest. This is one of the big reasons people only collect about 2% of their audience as leads. If you can collect signals of interest, you will actually get 15, 20% of your audience as leads. You don't have systems to nurture those leads into clients, and they're often using outdated, low authority techniques that basically seem desperate. No one wants to work with someone that's desperate. Like you wouldn't go on a date with someone that was desperate for a date, would you? It would just be weird. It's the same in business. I'm going to help you solve all of these though. And as I said, these generate anywhere from 30 to 50 leads typically for my agency. On a good month, we'll get 60, 70. On a bad month, maybe 20 to 30. But I think that's still pretty good to get 20, 30 leads on a bad month. And because of the way they're generated, they obviously convert at a much better rate. In fact, our conversion rate from lead, like initial interest or booking a discovery call, to sale last year was 15%. Most people's proposal to sale ratio is about 15%. So this is pretty good. There's a few mindset shifts that you need to make as well. The first one is around abundance. So for this system to work, you need to discard some of your old beliefs and realize that actually the way you think and operate is reflected in the clients you're going to have. If you're constantly desperate, if you think you need clients, it's going to be a massive turnoff for them. So you want to adopt this confident abundance mindset. And if one person doesn't become a client, that's okay. There are plenty more people that could become clients for you. So you never need a client. That's a really important mindset shift. The second is that this will work. A lot of people will consume guides like this or videos like this and they'll go, yeah, that's all well and good, but this won't actually work for me. I know that because I used to think the same myself. I would read so many guides and go, that's really good info, but how's it going to work for my industry or my business or my clients are different? You make up all sorts of excuses. that really is just a reflection of your lack of belief. It's your subconscious pulling you away from something that will help because you're actually scared of the process. And that's okay, it's perfectly natural, but it's obviously not ideal if you want to grow your business. So look, if you're one of the 10% that have actually got this far in the video in the first place and you're still reading, you're in the top 10% who are actually going to commit to getting results. So take some pride on that and commit to this with full conviction. The third mindset shift I want you to make is around systems. So one thing I've learned in the last 3 years is that there is one thing that separates the people that succeed in winning new clients and those that don't. It's not about their age, it's not about years in industry, it's not about experience or anything like that. The people that win clients simply have a system and they follow it. That is it. There's no second guessing, no excuses. They just execute on proven systems time and time again. Imagine for a moment what your life would be like if you had a system that you could just pick up and implement to scale your lead flow. Well, I'm going to give you the one that has at least helped me go from a beginner agency owner working out my girlfriend's uni bedroom, charging 300 quid a month, to 7-figure business charging up to 10 times that. And chances are I probably have less experience than you do. If you implement this properly and you watch the end of this video and actually go through it, it would be unreasonable for you not to generate leads, but you've got to implement the full system. So this is the 6-figure LinkedIn system that I follow. 5 steps that we're going to run through. We're going to look at authority positioning, your no-brainer off stack, how to build a high converting profile, how to create full funnel content and social selling. The first thing we're going to look at is authority positioning, because this is the thing that most people forget when they try and get leads. No one buys from people they don't trust. Trust is the single most important factor in the entire sales process. And right now, probably one of the reasons you're not getting the leads you want is because your audience don't realize you're an expert in your field, because you're not positioned in that way. Right, so if we want someone to buy from us, even just to listen to us, consume our content, engage with us, or pay any attention to us, we have to be trusted as a good source of guidance, okay? Someone that's credible, right? Who says something matters more than what they said. So if you want your messaging to land, you need to be seen as worth listening to. And actually, in every sale you do, there's 3 sales that you've got to make. You have to convince someone on the product, you have to convince them on themselves, but before you do both of those things, you have to convince them on yourself. I.e., the first thing that you have to sell someone on is the fact that they should listen to you. So how do we do that? Well, we need 3 things. We need proof, we need a promise, and we need packaging. So a proof statement is third-party evidence that, it's irrefutable proof that you are good at what you do. So things like results, milestones that you've got in your career. You'll notice if we look at my profile, actually, there are a few of these elements that are already in my profile. So the first thing you see when you land on the profile is 250 plus personal brands built. You see some of the places I've featured. You see some of the logos of places I've featured and clients we've worked with. And instantly, you start to trust me on personal branding, at least anyway. Am I qualified because of this to give life advice to 40-year-olds? No, but I'm probably quite good at building personal brands if I've done it 250 times, if I've been featured in these places, work with that caliber of clients, etc. So your positioning is really, really important just for getting people to trust you, and the proof is a huge part of building up the credibility behind that. Your promise is what you actually deliver for your audience. So why should they care, right? Because people won't just follow me because I'm an expert. They want to actually get something out of following me or ultimately hiring us, working with my agency. So your promise is what people are going to get out of following you. And you need to package it in an appealing way. So you need to package up all of your expertise, your unique combination of experience, expertise, value, personality, in a way that stands out from everyone else in your industry. And using your unique points of view or even IP is a great way of doing this. And these 3 things together form authority positioning that is going to allow you to stand out from the rest of your market and give people a reason to actually listen to you in the first place. Pick anyone that you've ever paid to help you out in your business or your career. You saw them as a person of authority before you did that. So you need to create authority positioning before you get to anything else. I know it's not the coolest and most fun thing to do, but this will make you the most money out of anything in this video. Once you've got that, you need to start thinking about offers. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail on offers here because there are a number of books that have been written on offers that will explain it far better than I can. But the thing you really need to know is that every interaction you have is an exchange of value. And in every exchange of value, there is an offer. This happens throughout the entire sales process. It's not just when someone actually exchanges cash for services. It happens throughout the entire sales process and the whole time they know you. So when someone sees your content, for example, you're exchanging their attention for your insight. When someone downloads a lead magnet, you're exchanging contact information for knowledge. When someone books a strategy call, you're exchanging time for direction. So offers aren't just made in the sales conversation, they're everywhere. And you've got to use them to actually get attention in the first place and then build trust and collect signals of interest. We're going to cover more on that later. If you don't do this early on in your lead generation pipeline, you're not actually going to fill your funnel with enough people to have conversations on the back end. So you can use some simple rules of thumb. For content, for example, ask, would I pay $50 for this? Would I personally pay $50 to read this post that I'm sharing? For your lead magnets, ask yourself, is this better than my competitors' paid stuff? And for paid offers, ask yourself, would this still be worth it if I was charging double the price? If you live by those three rules and you use them as principles where you can question yourself and make sure that you're abiding by them, you're going to fill your pipeline with leads. And that's what we all want. These have helped me consistently generate leads every single month for the last couple of years. So once you've got your positioning and your offer nailed down, you can start optimizing your profile. I've already shared how some of your positioning might come through on the profile, but profile really is so important because it's kind of like the modern day landing page, business card, pitch deck, sales letter, all in one. And most people are criminally underutilizing theirs and actually lose a lot of deals because they have a poorly structured profile. And this is so important because in the next stage, what we're going to look at is how we actually drive people to the profile using content. If you have an unoptimized profile and you're creating content, it's kind of like running ads and paying for ads to send people to an unoptimized website. You just wouldn't do it. So a great profile has three things that you've got to now. You've got to create curiosity. And one way you do this is in your tagline. So your tagline is the only thing that shows up when you publish content along with your profile picture and your name. So it's really important for getting people to click from your content onto your profile where you can then convert them into a lead. Your name and your profile picture, unless you're famous, are not going to be enough to get someone to click from your content onto your profile. So your tagline has to do a lot of the heavy lifting here. One thing you definitely want to include in there is credibility, but you also want to have a value proposition in there, a little bit around what you do. This is similar to your promise, actually. So mine is, we create thought leaders through personal branding. Anyone that wants to become a thought leader is going to be intrigued by that and click onto the profile. Your credibility is essentially your proof. So I shared here, I've got 250 plus personal brands built. I've got some of the logos of places we've worked. This is basically building up people's trust in me instantly when they land on the profile. And also conversion. So one thing I have here is a link that says test your personal brand score. And this is a key conversion tool for us. So this takes you to a lead magnet where we measure the power of your personal brand, which it's a lead magnet for us. But it creates a lot of curiosity because people want to know what their personal brand score is. So the text around this is very carefully curated. You can actually change the text that overlays the link. But then the link takes you to a lead magnet. So there's an opportunity instantly to convert people right away on the profile. So that's the header section, which is really important. Your about section is also really key. You want to structure your about section like a sales letter. Most people write there's like a CV. Actually, you want to structure it like a sales letter, addressing the problem that people go through, how you solve it, what life is like once you've solved it, sharing some proof of people that you've helped before. So actually structuring that like a sales letter and then having a call to action at the bottom is a much stronger way to convert profile visitors into leads. And then your featured section should be filled with lead magnets, links to sites or case studies that you've got. Again, just to show proof and get people to the next stage of working with you. If you get those things in place, you're going to have people that are actually reaching out off the back of your profile. You can see a few examples here of people that have just reached out to me off the back of seeing my content and then clicking onto my profile, which is kind of the gold standard of what we want when we're generating leads on LinkedIn. We want people reaching out to us. We can take this to another level though by publishing content. Now, content is the single best thing you can do to grow your business and your pipeline. If you have the wrong strategy, sure, you're going to waste a lot of time. But if you have the right strategy, you're actually going to get people queuing up to work with you every single week. So don't just use the exact strategy that I built to generate 2 million in sales for. I think we're actually up to over $3 million in sales from LinkedIn for my own business and the system that's helped Ollie build a waitlist of clients worth over $70,000 a month. Mike sold 30K of coach consulting in his first 3 months of doing this. Sean actually sold out 2 accelerators back to back. This is going to get you views and followers, but it's also going to get you leads off the back of it. It's tried and tested, but it is remarkably simple, and the results off the back of it are amazing. It's so simple because really to win on LinkedIn, you only need to do 3 things. You need to make people aware you exist, so you need to increase the pool of people that knows who you are. The very first step of someone buying from you is they must know that you exist. So that's the first thing we've got to do with our content. We then want to build trust with them because if we just do one, we have lots of people aware we exist, but no one trusts us. We're going to have hundreds of thousands of followers that never buy. And trust me, those people exist. And then we want to make them an offer. So once they know who we are and they trust us, we're in a position to actually offer to help them. A lot of people will do the first 2 and they will have a half decent audience, but they're so scared of making an offer because they don't want to seem sleazy that they never actually generate any sales. But there's a way to do this without it coming across as pushy. And that gives us 3 types of content to post. We have awareness content, which makes people aware we exist, consideration content to build trust with them, and then conversion content where we make them an offer. The awareness content, the sole aim of this is to reach as many people as possible and therefore increase the pool of people that you can build trust with. Don't try and sell with this content. You're going to do that later. The first thing you want to do before that is just get attention. To do it on LinkedIn, you need to publish slightly broader, more industry relevant content. Don't be too dialed in on your ICP here. You actually want everyone in the industry to be able to engage with it. And the aim is to make it simple and easy to engage with, right? Because engagement is going to drive views in the algorithm. You can build authority, share value, do all the conversion pieces in the next stage. For now, we just want to be focused on actually dialing up the views. Some examples here, if you run a CRO agency for ecom brands, your awareness content should be aimed at anyone in marketing or ecom. So it's slightly broader than just your ICP. If you were an exec coach for senior leaders at FTSE 100 companies, your awareness content should appeal to anyone in leadership companies. And this should generally be about 40% of your strategy. This will vary depending on the size of your current following, your offer, your audience, but generally about 40% of your content will be awareness or growth content. We then have consideration or authority-based content, which really is designed to just build authority and trust. It's not necessarily designed to go viral. You just want to use it to build trust with the people that already know you exist. So really it's about showcasing your expertise, teaching your audience, giving them something valuable that they can actually use to get results from. Again, we're not trying to sell just yet. We can do that in the next phase. We just want to build trust with people. And this content is more targeted at your niche. So you want to be a little bit more specific than your awareness content, but not exclusively targeted at your ICP. So again, take the CRO agency. The content that they publish for consideration might target e-com brands in the supplement space, right? Or e-com brands of a certain size. The life coach, the leadership coach might target VPs, directors, and CEOs, for example, broadly. And pro tip here, don't just share information. That's a big mistake I see a lot of people making. You want to actually turn your information into frameworks, systems, processes, because that shows true expertise and actually helps your audience implement them and get better results from it and therefore trust you more. And if you get this right, you're going to have people reaching out to pay you. One of our clients, for example, signed their highest ever retainer, $11,000 per month through LinkedIn. And again, this content is about 40% of your strategy. Finally, you then need to convert your audience. And you've already got a good pool of people that know you exist. You're constantly growing that pool of people that know you exist through your awareness content. You're building trust with them. You've earned the right to offer to help them, offer to take them to the next step. And this is going to be heavily tied to the next section on social selling. Your conversion content should be hyper-specific, okay? So it's going to be things like case studies, free guides, results. You really want to give your audience a sense that results are going to be inevitable when they work with you. And if they're not, obviously work on your product or your service until they are. And you want to be highly targeted here. So if you're the CRO agency, you might target heads of marketing at 7 to 8 figure supplement brands who are already spending 6 figures on ads. If you're the leadership coach, you're probably targeting C-suite executives at FTSE 100 companies. So it is really dialed in on your ICP. Giveaways are a great way to do this. So you're creating a lead magnet and then you give away the lead magnet for free, obviously in exchange for an email address. But when you promote the lead magnet, you really want to hype up the value of that lead magnet. Don't give away the lead magnet itself just yet, but get people to comment something specific in exchange for getting access. And what that's going to do is it's going to create this frenzy of people commenting something specific in the comments. You can then go in and DM everyone a link to the guide. Rather than just putting the link in the post itself, which is going to downgrade your performance, you can actually get people to comment and hype up the engagement on your content to get lots of views whilst converting people into leads. The results from this are pretty crazy. These are 3 giveaways actually that we ran for one of our clients, and you can see the number of comments on them is mental, great views as well. So they're actually getting lots and lots of visibility whilst generating leads as well. And that's going to tee you up nicely for social selling. This is something that people get all wrong. They miss the social bit completely and they end up with no clients and a network that hates them. But if you don't do this at all, the problem is you're missing out on 95% of the leads that you could be getting. Because when you post, yeah, of course, you're going to get those people that do message you directly, like I showed you before. That's only going to be about 5% of the leads that you generate from LinkedIn. The rest, they need a little bit more nudging in the right direction. They're not ready yet to raise their hand and say, I need help. They need that little bit more nurturing. So the way we do that is through lead magnets and funnels. Because a lot of these people, they will signal interest, but they won't quite be ready to buy yet. So some signals of interest include things like viewing your profile, requesting a giveaway or a lead magnet, liking your post repeatedly, although worth noting, some people that become clients will never engage in your content. These people are lurkers. Maybe they complimented your content, maybe they ask a question. These are all signals that someone might need your help, because they're interested in what you do. And you need to use those opportunities to strike up conversation and actually sell people in the DMs. But it's really important there has to be a reason for reaching out, and that is the signal of interest. Okay? When you use signals of interest to determine who you message, your message is seen as welcomed help rather than an unsolicited pitch or unwanted spam. People will be glad you reached out. And look, best case, you convert them there, and then worst case, you help them and create an advocate who's going to speak highly of you to the network. I've easily closed 5 figures of business in the DMs and through referrals from people that I've helped in the DMs but have never bought anything. So this is well worth taking the time to do. The old way of spamming people in a numbers game just doesn't work anymore. And look, if you get this combination of profile content and social selling now down, you will never struggle to generate clients ever again. And that is literally the exact system that I personally have used to generate $3 million through LinkedIn previously, and will continue to use for the next few years to generate even more. Now, at this point, you've got a couple of options. You can spend years trying to work the system out for yourself, tinkering, figuring it out, building it, learning through trial and error. Or what you could do is you could just pick up and implement the systems that I've taught today 100% free for the next 7 days and start to turn LinkedIn into a 6-figure sales channel by this time next week. Because I'm actually gathering a group of highly ambitious entrepreneurs to teach this entire system to, so that you can win high value clients through LinkedIn authoritatively. Now, we've got this group on School where I have a combination of course content, cheat sheets, live workshops, the community feed. I'm literally laying out my entire system for you to pick up and plug into your business. There's a list of things that's actually involved here. I'm not going to read through every single one of these because, quite frankly, I have far better things to do with my time. But you can read through these if you want, or you can just go straight to the School program that is linked in the description. And you can see if you think this might be valuable to you. If you think maybe this would generate you a lead if you did it over the next 7 days, you could get some results from it and actually profit from this in the next 7 days. It is a $97 per month program, but you can actually get a free trial for the next 7 days if you want to just test it out. And if you get some leads from it, it's probably worth staying. It would be an educated decision to stay in the group and pay $97 per month for what is probably 50K worth of value. So click the link in the description. It's going to take you to the School page where you can join and you can literally implement this entire system. I've even got a 90-day checklist in there with the exact steps you should take over the first 90 days, literally a 90-day plan to show you how to get leads. So maybe I'll see some of you in the group shortly. If not, I hope you enjoyed this video and there was some value in it. If there was, drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel because there's going to be more content just like this coming very soon.